the top. Like my beat ain't no happy belated, I'm counting the guap. Who gave you a voice? Who told you your thoughts count? GPS straight to the money. I put my big homie got the big Mickey Mouse. You posted your at 12 and 8 that night, she had my all over the mansion. Can't sit on my house. I got that check and took off. A lot of these look lost. They broke, they think it's my fault. No court. I want that caught. I'm dripping, I'm stuck with the sauce. But she love you, don't cut your. Renault Da Vinci is white. Limited Louis, that's light. Rape in the city, that's light. LED, look at the light. We the ones don't like. But you look too light. Why even play with your life? Bank account looking like yikes. With me, boy.
Can Zeke deke again? Well, it's the coach. This is the 2018 season, and you've got it tuned to EA Sports. Coming up, Ezekiel Elliott, fresh off 100 yards a week ago. Coming up, we'll see the visiting Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll join you again at halftime to look at some of these stats and scores from earlier this afternoon. But for now, it's Sunday Night Football. And on the call, as always, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, it's the NFL on EA Sports as you take a look there at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, PA. Just a short time ago, these Philly fans in full roar as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. Pyrotechnics ablaze. They're set to go as their Eagles will match up with the Dallas Cowboys. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you look at this Eagles team as they interplay here. They coming off their very first loss of the year, suffered a week ago.
Yeah, will not be a perfect season, but I'm interested to see how they bounce back now that they know that chasing the 1972 Dolphins is out the window.
Meanwhile, for the visitors here, the Cowboys, they come in riding high, just one loss in their last 7 games.
It's a very focused team, very disciplined. They've kept the penalties to a minimum, and they're winning football games.
Now it's the Boise State alum, Jay Ajayi. He works his way forward for a couple up past the 30.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Here we go.
Now a play fake. Wentz. He's going to air one out. And nearly an interception here on their opening drive. But instead, 3rd down.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
An early tough test on the opening drive. This is 3rd and 8.
Here we go. Louis! Listen!
From the gun, it's Wentz. Aguilar has it. And he gets this one to midfield before he's brought down. A gain of 19 and picking up the first.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
Yeah, it was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
The stop for no gain brings up 2nd and 10 from the 20. This is Ajayi. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. He's able to rattle off 6 on the carry, and that'll get him to 3rd and 4.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
From the gun on 3rd down, Wentz looking for Jeffrey, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Jalen Smith. And the return stops just a few yards shy of midfield. They'll spot the ball at the 47-yard line. They told us repeatedly earlier in the week in our meetings, we need some plays from our defense here on the road early. They got one.
And don't think they were above all week long pointing out to their defense that the other defense is rated higher than them. You going to let that happen, guys? Is that how we're going to play? And they responded to the challenge.
And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20. Because to me, that's the magic number. 20-point score gives yourself you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
So after a good run by Zeke, another 1st and 10. A first down carry by Elliott. And he's going to take this one down to the 25. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2. Another good run there for a guy who, remember, on Wednesday was named NFC Offensive Player of the Week for what he did a week ago.
Yeah, and you know it takes some solid runs and some extra special runs in order to win that type of an award. I think he's locked in and wants to get it done a second time.
Tackle made that time by Brandon Graham. Pretty good job defensively. Thought he was going to get it, but they knew where that marker was, and they stopped him just short of it.
What it does is emphasize that strategic football and situational football is not just played on the offensive side, is it? Defense understanding, as you noted, where the first down marker was and making sure they didn't get there.
And they'll work it inside the 15-yard line before it's all said and done. Give them 10 yards on that one, and that'll earn them a fresh set of downs. Really been an ideal start for them. They get the turnover on the opening possession. Now here they are moving the ball straight down the field on their first drive.
And that feels good, but you know on their side of the field all they're thinking is finish this drive off because they took it away, right? So now you got them back on their heels a little bit. Now go down, put a touchdown on them. Look out. You've won the mental battle early in the game, and that may carry over for you.
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. Now back to the ground with Elliott, and he's able to get it down to the 2-yard line. 4 yards on the play, and that leads to the 1st and goal. You were telling me this yesterday. This is exactly what they want to do on the opening drive, establish the ground game.
Yeah, remember our conversation. We were talking about what one of the GMs in the league has told me repeatedly. It's a big man's game. And it's not necessarily size. He's talking about playing some big boy football. Line up, get leverage, knock people back, and establish the run early.
So stuff from the 2, now what?
You know me pretty well. What do you think I want here?
Play action?
Definitely. Let him get outside and create. And if he has to run it, he has a little bit more space.
Throwing. Prescott. And this is caught for a Cowboy touchdown. In for the score. And the Cowboys have taken the early lead. Well, these guys have won 3 straight ball games and another good start to this one out to the 6-0 lead.
And I've talked with so many different coaches, as have you, along the way, and they always talk about winning streaks and the mood of a team and how much easier it is to actually prepare during that time. Guys are sharp, guys are focused, everyone's feeling good, and we're seeing it early in this one.
And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And, Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left.
More football.
We're only in November. But they would be a wild card team. And that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders. That
guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also isn't much margin for error for this team, right? Because right where they're sitting, a 2-game losing streak can have them out of the playoffs, so they've got to make sure they continue to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. There's some sharks smelling blood in the water behind them.
4 down. Don't go. Waiting.
Now it's the all-purpose back. This is Darren Sproles. Looking for a crease, can't find one. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker, and what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down.
Absolutely love the effort there. The ability to flow from his inside spot and stop that one at the line of scrimmage. Nice linebacker play.
Now Wentz on third down. And Jeffrey's got it. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. A gain of 26 on the third down conversion. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on third down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you at important times because he can trust you being in the right spot, and they connected there and picked up a first down.
Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1. Well, they're making an effort to get the ground game going tonight. So far, it's working.
I like what we're seeing from the offensive line. They seem to have the leverage going, and they're controlling things and reestablishing the line of scrimmage, moving that defensive front backwards. I also like what the runner's giving us, too. It appears that he's been waiting all day long to get out here and take off.
A first down for the Eagles. Wentz fighting the former Raven Wallace. They're going to run it now with Sproles. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. A tackle for loss there. 2 last week. He's tough to handle coming off the edge.
And when you talk about a defensive end, your first thought is, how does he rush the passer? That's where he makes his big plays, getting into the backfield for the best ones to pull it up.
And he's in. Blood Eagles touchdown. Darren Sproles, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Eagles are within an extra point of tying this thing up. And they're able to run it in. It started with a battle in the trenches. They won there, and they got in for 6 points.
And that's going to be a tough one for the defense to deal with. They've got to go to the bench now and figure out how we're going to slow down this running game, because on that particular play, they had no answer.
And let's gaze our attention on Ezekiel Elliott. Last week, over 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. We were talking with him on the field before the game. He said simply, I was in a groove. He obviously was.
And I think he's being a little modest about that, being in a groove. That's a big-time game right there. And I think he feels like his entire team is coming along with him, because they're creating spaces and holes for him to run through. He's making people miss, running through tackles. They are locked in a big way and confident about this game as well.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. A 2nd down throw for Prescott. Over the middle, the connection to Hearns. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face third down.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders. Hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or?
Better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
8 yards there on a first down.
That's about what you would expect, since they're so efficient on picking up third downs in the top 5 in the NFL. It's all a mindset, and I'm guarantee you it started in the offseason. Third down's important to them. They find a way to pick them up at a very good clip.
And that's caught inside the 30. And it's a big play there as he is finally taken down on what will be a terrific fight. Sitting alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, as it is Cowboy football to begin quarter number 2. And they're on the move here. They've got it 1st and 10. Here's Prescott. Firing quickly, but it's incomplete.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It's way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. To throw is Prescott. And Beasley with it over the middle. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a third down.
In today's football, where receivers break tackles, make people miss, get upfield for the extra yardage, when you see a play like that where it's caught and he's dropped on the spot, that's a big-time play by the defense.
And he'll take it into the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown. 2 first-half touchdown passes now for Dak Prescott. And the Cowboys are in for 6. Getting your back involved, what's the importance there in the passing game?
Well, oftentimes you can create mismatches because who's going to cover him? and you get him into space, which is where he likes to operate with the ball in his hands. Oftentimes makes people miss, gets that run after the catch, and off he goes.
And into the end zone. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. And out now come the Eagles. And that last drive was very, very balanced, pretty methodical. You think they go that route again?
I'm always of the school that until they stop me from doing something, I'm going to continue. And I think that that's exactly what they'll look to do. But the beauty is the balance that they've created sets up opportunities for big plays. Looks like a run, turn it into a play action, and throw one deep. I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. But slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10.
Here we go.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Sean Lee, the Pro Bowler, there for the tackle.
He has elite instincts from his linebacker spot. He's able to diagnose the run and flies in like a missile to stop that one behind the line of scrimmage.
The rush defense stout on 1st down. Here's 2nd and 10 from the 20.
Here we go. 20.
On play action, Wentz. Open man left side is Wallace, complete. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. He goes for 18 there as the drive will continue.
The goal for any offense versus his own defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball in the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route.
Go. 280.
Here's Ajayi. And they went the wrong way there. Losing yardage back at the 43-yard line. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
Early down stuff to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority one.
Wentz to throw on 2nd down. He finds Aguilar over the middle. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down. Well, clearly one of his advantages as a passer is his height. Sit back in the pocket, fired over the middle. That makes things tougher defensively, doesn't it?
It really does, because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there. If he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the top, which saves him time and actually completes a play a little bit quicker than it normally does. The quarterback has to slide and find open space to throw.
50 catches for him now on the year, and he's got a 1st down.
A lot of tight ends just use their size and their strength, try to occupy some space and kind of body people away and catch the football. But not this guy. He's a refined route runner. Makes me wonder if he took some dance classes in his background with his footwork.
7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
Now Wentz again, and he'll go down. Brought down at the 20-yard line. Jalen Smith in there to drop him for his 5th sack of the year.
I think normally we would talk about this more with basketball players and football players, but let's adopt it in this case. He's a stat sheet stuffer.
Had the interception earlier, now a sack. What, he just needs a touchdown for the trifecta.
That's about all he needs, and he's going to go for it.
Here we go. Back. 120.
Working from the gun, Wentz. And it falls incomplete after almost being intercepted. A pick there would have been great. The good news for the defense now, it's 4th down.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
So in the end, they had the ball for 10 plays, but the drive gets them 3, not 6.
Is it okay if I give credit to both sides on this one?
Absolutely.
All right, let's start defensively. They hung in there. 10-play drive, but they stiffened when they got close to the goal line, made them kick a field goal. And for the offense, 10-play drive. They might be a little disappointed they got a field goal, but they moved the ball down the field with dispatch and came away with points.
So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at about the 32. Looking to throw. Prescott. And he's going to drop this off to his fullback. Nice way to start the drive. A gain of 12 and a first down. First down. Prescott completes it to Hearns. And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
And an alley to run. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks.
Would you say this offense is locked in right now?
They're having no trouble on this drive. What is it, 3 plays, 3 first downs?
Yeah, you talk about on the march. They keep this up, they get to that end zone real fast.
And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another first.
They're making it look easy out there. Another first down. So far on this drive, let me do this little bit of math here. 4 plays, 3 first downs.
That's a pretty good recipe for success. They'll run it now out of the gun. And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it second down.
Well, if you're a football guy, that's a pretty run because everyone is in sync right there. Obviously, the guy carrying the ball, but how about the people up front? Leverage, athleticism, they created some nice space for him.
They just get the play off. Now Prescott gets it to Gordon. And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a third down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion that would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete. We both know it's difficult, but they've made it look effortless out there. Through the air, on the ground, they've moved the ball with relative ease.
Now Elliott. And he will take it in for a Cowboy score. Ezekiel Elliott with his 14th touchdown of the year, 2nd of the game. And the Cowboys will add on to their lead.
I know we don't talk about it enough, but the intelligence level of the guys up front blocking, the offensive linemen, maybe the smartest guys in football overall. Add in a little bit of athleticism and a whole lot of toughness, you've got a lot to deal with, don't you?
That's why the guys in the backfield get them really nice Christmas gifts, right?
If they're smart, they do.
And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Eagles offense now, they head back on the field. And tough to win games if you're going field goal, field goal, field goal here. They got field goal last time. Now they'll be looking for a touchdown.
They're looking for the big chunk now because, as you noted, the field goal way of doing it makes it that much harder, puts more pressure on every possession for you now. Go ahead and get 6 and feel a lot more comfortable about the position they're in.
Bigger chunks. We'll see if they can get the score. 5 yards on the catch there brings up second down.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. And what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs. Give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
Under 4 to go now as the clock runs and they come up on second down. Now Wentz throwing on second down. Ertz over the middle. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. A good pickup there, a 22.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. That's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
That ball's caught. Aguilar, right side. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. 23 yards on the play.
And another thing that makes the comeback route really effective He said oftentimes after you've made the initial move, receivers breaking away from the defensive back, and that makes it a really tough play to defend. A nice chunk of yardage picked up there.
They'll run it now out of the gun and give him about 3 as he gets it down to the 22-yard line. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. We'll come back to Philadelphia after this.
Here we go. 120.
On second down, here's Wentz. And he's just going to get rid of this thing. To no one here. He throws it away, and now it's third.
This defense has been very disruptive early on as they force another one to go awry.
Seems to be the front and the back end. Pass rush, they've been able to get home, and they're taking the ball away in coverage as well.
I love how you put it together. The front and back working in sync, only way to play good defense.
And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. And now a timeout called by the Cowboys defense as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. And Elliott puts this one through. And that'll make this an 8-point game. No problems in the field goal department so far. He's 2 for 2.
Pretty reliable here in this game, isn't he? And to me, that bodes well for them. If they need him late in the game, his confidence should be sky high.
Set to return now. Here's Deontay Thompson. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32-yard line. Ezekiel Elliott gets ready to go again here on offense as he shuffles onto the field. And you see the last drive, great chunky yardage, the touchdown on 5 carries. And offensively, everything just looked in sync, didn't it?
It did, and the reason that it was in sync is because it's a combination of play calling, game plan, offensive line marrying up with all of their blocks. But don't forget the receivers out on the perimeter. Any type of a long run, the receivers have had a hand in that because they've occupied people downfield. And, of course, give the big credit to the man with the football. Great vision, good movement, gets to the end zone. Oh, man, that was close. The opportunity to change momentum, big play, right in his hands, unable to come down with it.
And a sigh of relief, no doubt, on offense that fell harmlessly to the ground. And he's going to have a first down as he's brought down at the 44-yard line. 5 yards is the pickup there as that extends this drive. He hits Beasley right side. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down. And again, it's Prescott. A dump off to Elliott. And he'll be out of bounds just shy of the 40. It's a 10-yard pickup, and it moves the chains. And this is a guy who last week not only helped his real team, but really helped a lot of fantasy teams. 3 trips to pay dirt. They've got to contain him.
And watching him play is like going to lunch with you when you order that combo plate, right? In this case, his combo plate is he can go over the top of you and catch it in front, turn it into a big game, run past you, and then uses his size and his physical abilities to keep you away from the football. Hard to defend this guy.
Reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Over the middle, complete. It's Elliott. And they'll bring him down at the 18-yard line. It'll be a gain of 9, and it'll be second and about a yard to go for the first. Prescott yet again. And that one finds the ground, breaking a string of 5 straight completions. And it brings up second down. No, third down.
Let's face it, you can run the route tree as many times as you want, get in sync, practice it, do all those things. But once you get to game speed, it doesn't always time up quite that well. That one goes incomplete.
On 3rd and 1, here's Prescott. Oh, he may have gotten lucky. Tried to dump it off underneath on the check down. Nearly picked. Instead, it's incomplete.
Perhaps they overthought this one a little bit. They've been running it real well on this drive, and it was 3rd and short, okay? They decided to throw the football. Incomplete. Yeah, they might have thought just a little bit too hard about that play selection.
And no signs of the field goal unit. They're going for it on 4th down. To the air again, Prescott. And he is into the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown. 3 touchdown passes now for Dak Prescott. And the Cowboys will extend their lead. And that'll give them a 2-score lead here, but I'm looking ahead. They just want to hold it for the final moments here in the second quarter. They don't want to give up anything on the other side.
No, not at all, because if they don't, it almost had the feel of an imposing their will score. And right now, they want to make sure they keep that and carry it into the second half.
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. 13 seconds, the time remaining in the half as they come up on first down. Here's a handoff to Sproles to start the drive. And able to stay on his feet past the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. Shotgun now for Wentz. Ertz has it left side. And with just 4 seconds left in this first half, a timeout call. Wentz now 12 of 16 thus far. It's 1st and 10. A final shot before half for Wentz. Gonna look deep for Jeffrey. Throwing middle, but it's incomplete. So we now proceed to the start of the second half. The Cowboys will get the football first here, and they have the lead as well as we are underway in quarter 3. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. And let's gaze our attention on Ezekiel Elliott. He's toppled the century mark already receiving the football, closing in on that on the ground, too. They've really had trouble handling him.
I think from what we've seen in this game, his success through the air has started to open things up for him on the ground, because now he's loosened up the defense, right? They've got to play just about every snap as if another receiver can get downfield on them, and he's been that receiver. Now they bring him back to the backfield. I think his yardage running the ball will increase as this one goes on.
Well, they might need to devote some extra attention to him, something just to stop the momentum he has. They keep on the ground with Elliott. And 3 yards there takes him to the 45.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Here we go, 46. Here we go, get that.
Second down, Prescott. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49.
Completion was given up, but that's why you play zone defense, so that you can have people around the ball when it's caught, and you don't give up much run after the catch.
Prescott to throw it. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. And in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And he gets it inside the 35 and just shy of the 30. It's a pickup of 16 there, and it'll lead to a new set of downs.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral, also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out, incomplete. Line of scrimmage, the 31 as they line up 2nd and 10. Throwing, Prescott. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect. Those passes out that far wide always make you hold your breath a little bit. Felt like it was in the air for a while.
What it does is it allows a defender to gain some ground, come from a long distance, and have a chance to affect the pass.
On 3rd down, it's Prescott. Escaping the pressure right. And some space here. And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone. The scramble good for a nice gain of 10 yards, but still 4th down.
That was a good effort there, trying to do it on his own, but as a defender, you're in a tough spot because you have coverage responsibilities behind you, and if you take off too quick to try and get him down, he might loft it over your head.
So better to track with your man defensively than try to go up and make a stop on the quarterback.
Exactly right. What you're hoping is that your guys in the front seven can get him down. 4th and inches, does he get the first? You bet he does. He knows exactly where he needs to be, and he's going to fight his way forward to get a couple of yards and ensure he keeps the chains moving.
The 4th down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on 1st down. From the red zone now, Prescott flush to his right. His throw caught at about the 5. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. It's a really nice 15-yard pickup, and now it's 1st and goal.
Looked like the defense put pretty good pressure on him, but he's able to flush out to his right to try and evade people. On the run, had to get on his horse. Still accurately throws a nice pass for a 1st down.
And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked up by DeAndre Hall. He's at the 50, the 30, 20, 10, and he'll score. Touchdown, Eagles. Now remember, this is the #1 defense in the National Football League. There's a good example of why.
Shows that they set an aggressive tone, not just stopping the run, not just getting after the quarterback, but the ball's in the air. They treat it like they're the receivers, and they went after that one and took it all the way.
Elliott good with a PAT, and this is back to an 8-point game. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Ezekiel Elliott gets ready to go again here on offense as he shuffles onto the field. He's been a good workhorse. I know we use the word workhorse a lot, but he's been a good workhorse for him in this one.
No doubt about it, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you're looking for if you're a back, because that means everything's coming together for you. Big guys up front have created space. You've run through it. You've probably gotten some help even from the wide receivers who want to catch passes as opposed to block, but they're helping out too.
Yeah, everyone's pitching in. He's had a good game. They go to Elliott again. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Give him 12 yards on that one. It earns him a fresh set of downs.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. A 1st down throw for Prescott. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Malcolm Jenkins. And they'll start out with great field position at the 47-yard line in enemy territory. First possession of the 3rd quarter, an interception, so maybe a second-half tone setter.
Indeed, and not the tone they wanted to set. That's the equivalent of running out the wrong door and running into your pool instead of running out onto the field. A real dud for that one.
Has that happened to you before?
No, but I've heard stories about teams actually doing that back in the good old days. Brandon, we talk all the time about those hybrid players, guys who can do more than one thing, and I think if you're playing strong safety in the NFL today, you are a true hybrid. Part linebacker, part cover guy.
And coming up, sticking his nose in the mess there and making a nice play defensively.
Personal foul, face mask, defense.
Officials so cognizant of that call nowadays, but that one looked pretty easy.
Yeah, you're right. They took out of their hands having to wonder whether it's a 5-yard or a 15-yard inadvertent or not. Now, it's a lot easier. You see it, you call it.
They run again with Ajayi. And they'll get him down right about the 20. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
They went right back to him, but he pretty much had nowhere to go on that play.
Yeah, the previous carry looked pretty good. That one, maybe he was a little tired. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he should have tapped out and had a second back come in and maybe make that run. Who knows?
Wentz now to throw. Caught by the tight end Ertz. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down.
They gave up the completion there, but this is what zone defenses count on. Catching the ball and not much run after the catch.
Wentz looking to throw on 3rd and 2. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
The beauty of being able to play a zone defense when you can sit back and see the ball coming out of the quarterback's hands, guess what? Creates a lot of confusion, kind of a muddle in the middle of the field where you can go make a play on the football.
And the kick by Elliott is good. And that'll get the lead down to 5. He's got 9 points on field goals now. He's made 3 of them. That gets him a bit closer, but there's no question they need to start turning some of these 3s into 6s.
And for him, it's not his concern, right? He just goes out there when they call on him and goes ahead and puts points up on the board. But the offense has got to get together and figure out what's stalling their drives, so they have to keep calling on him.
Dak and the Cowboy offense heading back onto the field. And he comes out on the heels of an interception he threw last time they had the ball.
Yeah, and you know, the quarterbacks that I know that are the best ones, the ones that really know how to lead their team, they tell them, that's on me. That's my bad. But let's go back out there and move ahead again, guys. We can get this done.
One good thing for him, it did only lead to 3 points and not a touchdown after that turnover.
Big thanks to the defense.
On second down, Elliott. And he gets this one just shy of the 40 to mark him down at the 39. It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs.
And he continues to pile up the yardage. That puts him over $150 now. And this defense has really had its problems trying to keep him contained.
Hearns brings it in. And getting this just shy of midfield, they'll spot it at the 49. They get 10 more there, and I believe that'll be enough for another first down. It will.
Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against it because you're running away from people on it.
And they'll work this down to the 40-yard line, tackled there. It's another 10 yards on that one and another first down.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
On first and 10, Prescott eluding the pressure right. It's caught right side, turns. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop him. A very solid gain of 27.
Sometimes it's designed, and sometimes you just have to know when to leave the pocket and move and make something happen. And on that play, he was able to get on the run and was still accurate throwing the football.
A give to Elliott. And he couldn't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. Back-to-back nice plays. 12 yards that time and a first down. A tough run by Ezekiel Elliott, the 4th overall pick in the 2016 draft.
If you watch tape of him in college, you saw plenty of those runs because I know the highlights showed him in the open field break.
And he'll get in. Touchdown, Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott punching it in from a yard away. And the Cowboys will add on to their lead. A good, sustained drive there in this third quarter, capping it off with a touchdown to give them a nice 2-score advantage.
It was actually a fun one to watch, wasn't it? I mean, for me, seeing the mix of what they did, how they moved the ball downfield, very sharp, too. Each and every play seemed to be executed with great dispatch.
This one taken from the 7. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about the 3-point?
The kicker.
Exactly. He put it through the post. That's going to help him at contract time. But that offense, they're thinking, let's get in the end zone this time.
I don't know if that helped him at contract time. You could have kicked that one through.
I don't know about that.
Toe bash.
I don't know about that.
Toe bashed it.
Super toe.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he powers his way up past the 30. 4 yards on the pickup there as it'll leave him with a third and about 4 more for a first.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few.
And welcome back. We are in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. It's the Eagles behind on the scoreboard, but with the football here as we start the fourth quarter. And once again, they go with Sproles. 7 yards there, good enough to move the sticks.
On third down, that's a good job of situational football and understanding where the first down marker was and getting there.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Throwing on first is Wentz. Gonna look deep for Jeffrey. He's got it with the 15. And he just falls short down at the 1-yard line. Wentz finding his favorite receiver, Jeffrey, on a big one. 61 yards. And at this stage, down in the second half, looks like they just wanted to find a way to get it in the hands of their playmaker, and they did.
I think you're exactly right. I don't think the coordinator's looking at...
And this is caught. For the moment, it's a touchdown, but multiple flags down, so let's sort this out.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense.
And yes, they want the point, so they will decline the penalty, no question there.
You don't think they spent a couple seconds mulling over what the penalty would do?
I don't even know why they asked the sideline.
Not at all. When you put the ball in the end zone on a takeaway, take the points and keep moving.
Elliott good on the extra point, and now things get a bit more interesting here in this fourth quarter. Here's Thompson on the return. And an excellent return there as he's up to the 35, but make it the 40-yard line. Charles, you said earlier this defense is probably going to need to hold these guys right around 20 or under that if they were going to have a chance. It was evident pretty early on that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they left 20 behind a long time ago in this game, didn't they? It looks like they're headed towards a big, big number. But 20 was the threshold because that kept them in the ball game and kept the pressure off of their own offense.
7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 3.
Awesome.
Prescott now on 2nd down. And Beasley with it over the middle. And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. But Dallas 1st down. Prescott hooking up with Beasley.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
Offensively with the lead, you want to run the ball, keep the clock going, but you also want to still kind of be in attack mode too, right? So how do you do that and not come back on your heels?
Yeah, think about all the practices we've watched where they have that tempo period to go over things just like this, where they describe the scenario, tell you what they're looking for, and make sure that they're still attacking, yet at the same time not going so fast as to leave too much time on the clock.
They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete.
You get a tight end like this, and you know he's used to dishing out punishment, but here, he's one that has to absorb the contact, and as a result, unable to hold on to the football.
He can run for it, and he will. And he'll slide down to avoid the contact. A nifty bit of scrambling there. 12 yards, 1st down. That is an absolute backbreaker. That was a design passing play, wasn't a draw. You think you got him stopped, good coverage downfield, and he's able to pick up the first with his legs. Defense under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Brandon Graham in there to bring him down for a loss of 7.
And plays like that really hurt play calling. They had a really nice gain on the previous play, but gave about half the yardage back on the sack. Excellent pressure up front, nowhere to go with the football. Down he goes.
Now following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17. Here's Prescott. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete. The pressure really ratcheting up. They get the sack on 1st down, then a near sack. They got to him there just as it was leaving his hand.
Yeah, they might need to change their pass protection scheme a little bit. Maybe bring another guy into the backfield to help protect the quarterback, because that was awfully close.
Here's Prescott. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. But from a defensive perspective, though, I think maybe they're saying, hey, we did what we needed to do, kept this a one-score game.
Yeah, without a doubt, because they were able to bleed some time off the clock, right? Put themselves in a good position, but it's not out of reach yet, okay? Being able to hold them to a field goal means that they do have a chance to come back and win this game.
Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that. They had a great air attack going. Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were confident enough to do it on the last drive, starting back up in their own territory, why would you change anything? They've got to be confident about what they're presenting and continue to do so.
Yeah, because the secondary, they really look clueless.
And that was amazing because that drive went and went, no adjustments, and no big plays by the defense to knock the ball away.
They go play action here on first down. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Chidobe Awuzie with a pick. And the return stops just a little bit shy of midfield at the 48-yard line.
Well, they didn't exactly show patience there, did they? Just down a score, they come out firing right away and compound things by throwing an interception. They put their defense in a really tough spot.
They'll start the drive with Elliott. And across the midfield stripe into Eagle territory. And give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6. Now, I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely, you want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
Holding offense.
Umpire through the flag usually always indicates holding, and that's what we've got.
And you know, depending on their positioning, where you are on the field, the umpire's got different responsibilities, but always, always making sure no one's holding.
Now they face a 2nd and long following the holding penalty. After the penalty, it's Elliott. And he'll get it down to the 47 here. 11 yards on the pickup, and just like that, it's 3rd down. Prescott from the gun. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And he'll get it down here to the 43. It'll be a gain of 4. And that's going to make it 4th down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. You like the call?
I do. I think it's a high percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the 1st down. In this case, it didn't happen.
And that right there is something we've seen, 15 times in NFL history. That will officially go down as a 60-yard field goal.
And everything has to be absolutely perfect for this to have any chance. He's got to get it out low and really drive through it. And I tell you, that was one heck of a kick. One heck of a decision on the sideline to even try it as well.
Carson Wentz and the Eagles make their way out to the field. With his guys trailing here in the 4th, he can ill afford a repeat of the interception that ended the last drive.
Yeah, you're 2 scores down. You take it upon yourself now to play perfect or near perfect football if you want to get your team back into the game. But it's also tough to do when you're trying to avoid errors, yet still play perfect football. He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
On 2nd down, here's Wentz. Hurts over the middle. And he sheds a tackle. Now he's got some space. And they've got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. That one goes for 36 yards.
There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that and have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing. Those types of plays that can knock a defense off balance, that'll drive a team towards a victory.
12 more yards there and another 1st down.
It must be something about the night air because he is putting on an absolute show under the light.
Yeah, we've established anything in his vicinity, he's grabbing it. They'll run it now out of the gun. Down to the 25. A gain of 3, 2nd down.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Wentz to throw on second down. Bird strikes him aside. A tussle for it, and this is going to be caught. And he doesn't quite make it, taking it within an eyelash. Dropped at the 1. That one goes for 24 yards. And with that last play, he's now up over that 300-yard mark.
And in today's NFL, it almost feels routine. And I hate that when you talk about a 300-yard passing game. To me, 300 yards still signifies excellence.
And that is caught. It's Aguilar for the Eagle touchdown. Nelson Aguilar with now 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns. And the Eagles have cut it back within a score.
I know Paul Revere talked about by land or by sea, right? You know, 1 by land, 2 by sea. He didn't mention air because right now we're seeing a big-time performance, aren't we? That's 2 touchdowns so far in this game.
Where'd you pull that one from?
And, you know, every now and then I actually listened in history class.
And you're just a scholar all the way around. You're reading all the time. I like that you fit that into the broadcast.
You know, I just grab a nugget when I can.
And he'll take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. And let's gaze our attention on Ezekiel Elliott. He is north of 200 yards. Any time that you can say you're north of 200 yards, you've done something right.
Yeah, you're going to get some big check marks on your grade sheet, and you're going to be in heavy rotation on all the highlight shows, and you might even make a magazine cover or 2.
He's hoping for more, the cherry on top maybe, as this game goes forward. And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all 3 still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage. Use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
So the Cowboys in possession of the football here as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Prescott, and that's caught by Beasley. And now right out of the 2-minute break, we'll get a timeout used defensively with 1:56 to go. And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. And now we're going to get a timeout defensively. So another stop, 1:50 left in the football game. Right back to him on 1st down. And he'll get this down only to about the 46. And play is stopped here. Timeout. It's the defense calling the timeout here, as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play. So 2nd and 9, and you'd have to figure just about all 11 probably crashing the line here. And he's going to get this one down near the 45-yard line. Fletcher Cox there for the tackle. And now the question everyone's wondering, look at the clock, late 4th quarter, do they put the ball in the air here on 3rd?
I don't. I run the football, and I tell my offensive line, no leakage up front. I don't want my running back hit as I hand the ball off to him. I don't want any type of an issue. But if I am going to throw, quick throw, out to the perimeter, maybe one of my best receivers running a quick slant or something like that.
And he's going to be met at about the 43. 2 yards on the pickup there. It's 4th down.
This has been an up and down, back and forth type of a game, hasn't it? Maybe this long drive, take a little bit of the wind out of their sails, kind of settle things down a little bit.
And now with the play clock winding down, Jason Garrett opts to take a timeout. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. They spot it on the midfield stripe, so it is a 60-yard attempt here. And his kick is good. And that'll push the lead up to 8. These kickers now, it used to be that a 50-plus yarder was cause for celebration. Now seemingly automatic.
Yeah, isn't it funny when we prepare for a game, when you look at the backgrounds of these kickers, it's interesting, isn't it, to find out they were all-state quarterbacks, receivers, defensive backs, all-state wrestlers, right? Baseball players. We're finding athletes all along, and now they're just specialists putting it through the posts.
Here we go. 120.
Back to throw. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And he can't hang on to it. That would have sealed it. Instead, 2nd down. That would have been a tough catch, but in this 2-minute drill, those are the ones you really hope your guys come up with.
Yeah, you don't want your guy to be able to take the out because it was a tough catch. You needed him to come up with that one because if he does, it all...
And, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Chidobe Awuzie with a pick.
Well, they needed the touchdown and the 2-point conversion, but they're not going to get a shot at either. This is a great play here defensively, Brandon, and at a time that they sorely needed one. And that could be enough to help get them out of here with a victory.
Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.
So for the Cowboys, they're setting themselves up as a major contender as they move to 8-1 now on the year. And they'll get another road test next week as they head to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Meanwhile, for the Eagles, it's just their 2nd loss so far to go along with their 7 wins. And they'll try to turn things around next week as they have a matchup in New Orleans against the Saints. And for Charles Davis and our entire crew here at EA Sports, I'm Brandon Gaudin saying so long, everybody.